And this information is coming to us via a government source on achievements by India's G20 presidency. Even before the leaders' meeting, India took the lead in the annual G20 Foreign Ministers meeting by being the first to deliver a fully negotiated and embraced the G20 Foreign Ministers outcome document and the chair summary, which is also known as the FMMODCS. Now, this comprehensive document highlighted critical themes relevant to member states, which include the strengthening of multilateralism, countering terrorism, and addressing global health concerns, among other things as well. Now, it is India's presidency that plays host to the inaugural Voice of the Global South Summit, with the participation from 125 countries across 10 sessions spanning 2 days. This landmark event provided a platform for participants to voice the concerns, ideas, challenges, and priorities of the developing world, rather. Now, this is again what government sources have been able to tell CNN News 18 about this. We're crossing over to CNN News 18's Aman Sharma to get us more on this. Aman, over to you.
See, Aisha, post the G20's India's presidency, which with a big meeting from tomorrow, the Prime Minister in his interview to Money Control had clearly said, 220 meetings held in 60 cities across India. The PM had called it, in fact, India's G20 presidency having the widest geographical reach and ambit. But India's G20 is also about the widest agenda. So, what are the major achievements before this big leader summit has happened? The government sources are citing to 6 specific meetings here, which have been held over the last 6 to 8 months, which have led to what we could achieve finally at the G20 Leaders Summit. Of course, India took the lead, as you just said, in the annual G20 Foreign Ministers meeting. It saw the collection of the largest ambit of foreign ministers in India. This was the first one also to deliver a fully negotiated, embraced G20 Foreign Ministers outcome document and chair summary. The comprehensive document was brought out, and issues like multilateralism, countering terrorism, global health concerns featured in that document. I think another highlight of India's presidency, which sources are pointing out, was India playing host to the inaugural Voice of the Global South Summit. And Global South has since then become a big buzzword. After India held this Voice of the Global South Summit, it had participation from 125 countries across 10 sessions, spanning over 2 days. So one of the most landmark events, I think, of the G20 presidency was this Voice of the Global South Summit. Apart from that, we have seen India's focus on the millets, which the Prime Minister had coined the word Shri Anna. There was a special G20 meeting of the agricultural chief scientists during the presidency, which led to the launch of the millets and the other ancient grains, internal research initiative, which we termed as Maharishi. There has also been the inception meeting of the G20 Empowered Group, the fourth important meeting which was held under the India's presidency. This led to women issues, women's economic representation being highlighted, and how to accelerate the women's leadership empowerment in the private sector. We had the G20 Digital Economy Ministers meeting. We all know that India's focus on the digital economy, UPI, especially the adoption of the digital public infrastructure, is a very, very key facet of the G20 Leaders Summit also. We will hear a lot about it over the next 2 days also. There was a consensus in that meeting also over digital skills, cybersecurity, and of course, the very, very important G20 Chief Science Advisors Roundtable was also held, because health has been something which has dominated our attention after the COVID pandemic, and there was opportunities in One Health for better disease control, pandemic preparedness, lessons learned from how we fought COVID were also discussed. So in a way, India clearly saying that it has made an effort to not just reform but also reinforce multilateralism through its G20 presidency. Independent expert groups have been set up for bolstering the multilateral development banks. So India's G20 presidency in a way has also confronted the 21st century challenges and taking the global dynamics and the global consensus over many issues forward. And we might see that coming in the G20 Leaders Summit in the next 2 days, how India has managed to achieve that kind of consensus, including the very important factor that is the African Union going to join the G20 group. That is very likely, and India is strongly pressing for it. That could, I think, become one of the bigger highlights of the G20 Leaders Summit if the African Union is made a part of the G20 grouping.
Absolutely. Aman, do stay with us. We are going to be shifting focus. There's more breaking news coming in.